all things Cleveland sports with your host, John Suchan. And good evening and welcome to a special edition of the Johnny Cleveland podcast on this 4th of July. Hope everyone is having a great day. Maybe you've cooked out. Maybe you're getting ready to go to the fireworks show, wherever you're at, or settle in and watch the fireworks shows on TV. There's always the great PBS special. Maybe you're watching that later, but wherever you're at, happy 4th of July. Not congratulations. Happy 4th. It's our independence and independence of America. So congratulations to America. Happy birthday and all of that. So this is our special edition of the show. And I thought it would be fun to, this is the fireworks edition. So in honor of the fireworks tradition, I thought, fireworks are big. They're colorful. They make a splash. They're big. So I thought we could go through and recall, I will recall some of my favorite big bangs of fireworks, big bang fireworks of recent memory. The last 30 years, I put together a list of top 10 big moments in Cleveland sports history. So we're going to do that tonight. Those are our fireworks. Thanks again for watching us here on the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. Had the opportunity to talk to a colleague over with the Pittsburgh group this morning. They have a podcast that they do over there, and I got to talk about the Cleveland Browns and the upcoming season. So that was a lot of fun. Look forward to that coming out later. I think on Monday that's coming out through the Pittsburgh feed here on the Fans First. So thank you, Jeff, for having me on as a guest this morning. But we have our own show right now, and so we're going to go through this. Let's start. We're going to start with, let me do a couple things here before. This is, let's see here, the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Hopefully you can see that now. We are live. If you'd like to participate or comment or chat with myself during this live broadcast here on YouTube, on Facebook, on the X, please do, and I'll try to interact with you that way. All right. And a shout out to Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They shake the hand of the farmer. They are subscription is on the top page of our X page. So click on that. You can go buy some amazing coffee, local coffee group here outside the Columbus, Ohio area. All right. Media. All right, here we go. I got drum rolls. I got transitions. So we're going to do number 10 on our list. These are the big stories in Cleveland sports history over the last 30-some years. This is my list. This is not your list. So you can disagree with me, but we put this together earlier and hope you like it. Here's the drum roll. At number 10, we've got Jacobs Field and the Cleveland Indians opening the Jacobs Field Stadium back in 1994. What a big shift for the Cleveland Indians and Cleveland sports in that time period, because 95, the Browns lost their team. But in comes this beautiful, beautiful ballpark that's still there, Progressive Field, downtown Cleveland. It was something that none of us Cleveland fans had ever seen before. So the opening of Jacobs Field makes it at number 10. They opened the ballpark in 1994. I can vividly remember watching the ESPN broadcasts of that game. It was an afternoon day game. The Indians were getting better. They were a competitive team in that, 92, 93, 94, and 95 is when they really took off. And we're going to talk about that probably on our list coming up. So that is number 10, Jacobs Field opening in 1994. Okay, let's do this transition here. And at number, let me see here. Oh, at number 9, yes, we have the Cavs drafting LeBron James in 2003. Remember that? Wow, that just changed the trajectory of the the Cavs, that squad forever. And we're continuing to talk about LeBron James. Even in the news today, he's a local kid, up here in Northeast Ohio. He has been on social media and he's in the area. He was actually working out supposedly at the Cavs facility, even though he plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. Interesting. He came out and said that he's been doing this for years, or suggesting that, and he told everybody to go shoot off fireworks and enjoy their 4th of July. But let the speculation continue, because LeBron James, could he be coming back to Cleveland a third time? But back in 2003, the Cavs drafted him at number 9. Okay, back to the drum roll. We're going to do number 8. And at number 8, the Indians, the Cleveland Indians we just spoke of, that went into the new Jacobs Field. Well, they got to the World Series in 1995 and 1997 with that amazing ball club that was filled with amazing players, from Kenny Lofton to Albert Bell to Manny Ramirez to Jim Thome. My God, what a wonderful time to be a Cleveland sports fan. I know we were all disappointed and depressed because we didn't have our Brownies in town, but man, did the Indians pick up the slack or what? Fantastic period there. The Indians made it to the World Series in 95 and 97. No, they did not win either of those World Series, but as far as stories in the last 30 some years, those Indians teams of the mid to late 90s were dynamite. Awesome. The shortened season in 95, they won 100 games, only lost 44. 97, they made it look like they were going to beat the put together Florida Marlins team that was a bunch of free agents. And unfortunately, they just didn't have it. Jose Mesa, we all know, if you are a diehard Cleveland fan, what happened in 97. We'll let the rest, we're just not going to talk about it. All right, number 7 on our big stories in the last 30 years. Number 7, we're talking Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, and Myles Garrett. I decided to put these guys all together. Fantastic group of players that were drafted in a very similar time period, right around the 2018 season. 2017 is actually when Myles Garrett was drafted. Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield were drafted in 2018. And you talk about 3 players that have really set the tone in a better direction for this Cleveland team that had been pretty much floundering since their return in 1999. So Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett. Baker Mayfield right now plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nick Chubb moved on to the Houston Texans. That hard one to take as far as him leaving Cleveland, but good luck to Nick this next season. Baker Mayfield has been very good with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Myles Garrett is back. Even though he demanded a trade, he's back for another season. So I think this is season number 8 or 9. If he started in 2017, so I think I want to say it's season 8. So big news there as far as those were the big stories. They have been for the last 5 or 6 years. All right, here we go. At number 6 of big stories, the Browns returned to the playoffs in 2002. The team came back in 1999, and we'll talk about that here momentarily, but they made it back to the playoffs in 2002, got to a playoff game, got to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, had the game in hand, where Kelly Holcomb and the gang were pretty much taking care of business like they needed to. We all know the name Dennis Northcutt if you are a longtime Browns fan, and we all know what happened toward the end of that game. Unfortunately, Northcutt dropped a pass that he should have caught that probably could have, what if, given the Browns the win, which would have been huge back then, maybe changed the trajectory of the team moving forward, but that was not the case. The team has struggled ever since that time when we were just talked about with Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, and Myles Garrett came into the mix in 2017 and 2018. All right, there's your top six, or your bottom six, your 10 through 6. We're going to pause here for a quick break on the Johnny Cleveland podcast on this 4th of July. We'll be right back. Hey, and thanks for coming back to the Johnny Cleveland podcast. This fireworks edition on the 4th of July. We're talking about big fireworks here in Cleveland sports history, especially over the last 30 so years. The big stories in Cleveland that have had all of our attention over these last several decades. All right, so we're coming to number 5. And at number 5, he just hit a home run earlier tonight in their game against the Detroit Tigers, Jose Ramirez. Little did I think, and little did most of us think, that when Jose Ramirez came to the Cleveland Indians many years ago, that he would be the player that he is now. He's a fantastic player. He's an MLB all-star, and just doing things that, he's small in stature. You see him up and close in person. If you go to games, he's not a big guy, but man, he can hit the hell out of the ball, and he plays some great defense, and it's meant so much to a Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Guardians team that has had their ups and downs. They did make it to the American League Championship Series a year ago, and a lot of that we want to give thanks to Jose Ramirez, who's been really just one of the best players since the Indians had those fantastic teams. And notice I didn't mention those teams of Jim Thome and stuff per se. I kind of left them out of this list, but that was another great topic that we could talk about endlessly here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Okay, number 4. All right. At number 4, the Cleveland Indians played the Chicago Cubs in the 2016 World Series. We all know a lot here in Cleveland about 2016. We're going to talk about 2016 in a little bit again. But the Indians made it to the World Series, and they played the Chicago Cubbies. And the Indians unfortunately had a 3-1 lead in that series and let it slip and lost the series. But it was still some amazing baseball, and something that the Cleveland fan base will always remember, and playing against the classic Cubbies, who had not been to a World Series and won anything either for bazillion of years. It was a fan's favorite World Series, a lot of national attention. So the Indians and the Cubs, big story, 2016, the World Series. Number 4. Okay, Number 3, the Brownies returned to Cleveland in 1999. We oftentimes here in Cleveland, as Browns fans, talk about before and after 1999. It's sort of the basis for everything. And the team left Cleveland. Art Modell stole the team, took them to Baltimore. And the Browns didn't have a team in 1996, 1997, and 1998. The NFL gave Cleveland a franchise back, allowed Cleveland to keep the name, the Cleveland Browns. It wasn't a lot of time to recuperate, and they didn't have the best help from the NFL as far as picking players and the draft and whatnot. So the team struggled when they got started in 1999. We talked earlier about them going to the playoffs, though, in 2002. But the fact is, and most of us know this, that the Browns have really struggled until more recently in the last 6 or 7 years. But the Browns did return to the city in 1999, and we as Browns fans know we have lived it. We know what it is to be a fan and a loyal fan, and we are the most loyal fans in all of the world. And when they stole that team from us, Art Modell stole that team from under our noses. It was just a disgrace, and it was a big gut punch to all of us. So that's why when I speak about the Indians, taking the place in the beautiful Jacobs Field, it did help. It did alleviate some of the pain that we went through. But those 3 seasons that we didn't have a team in Cleveland, and if you were a diehard Cleveland football fan, it was a struggle, man. The NFL just there wasn't a big interest. It's hard. I mean, we all love the NFL if you follow the Browns, but if you're a Browns diehard, and it was just sad and a sad, depressing time. So the Browns come back in 1999. Great momentum. Um, they didn't have great teams, but hey, here we are, 2025. We're moving forward. Okay, we are up to number 2. Drum roll, please. Oh, wasn't too long ago. The Browns, yes, those Brownies, our Brownies, beat up those Squealers down the road in Pittsburgh in 2020, the COVID year. The Browns had to beat Pittsburgh in the last game of the season to get into the playoffs in a home game that the Browns did win. But many of you may recall that the Pittsburgh fans and whatnot had were saying, well, Pittsburgh, they didn't play their best players, including Ben Roethlisberger, their quarterback. Thus, who cares? They have to play. We have to go to Pittsburgh in the playoff game. There's no way in God's green earth the Browns are going to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh in a playoff game. We never beat Pittsburgh ever. There's no chance in hell. Oh boy, did the tide turn from the opening snap. The Browns, Myles Garrett recovered a fumble. The Browns were up 28 to nothing against the Squealers in that playoff game. And what a great, fun, wonderful, wonderful moment in Cleveland sports history, Browns history. It's something that we hold our hat on, and we are proud of that. But we got to get some more playoff wins as we build toward this new dome stadium coming to Brook Park in 2029. Okay, drum roll, please. We've made it to number 1. Before I get to number 1, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here to the Johnny Cleveland podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network and Fans First. We so much appreciate you coming and being loyal to our podcasting, coming over here and following us. We just appreciate that. And we know that you're loyal fans of the Browns. Follow us on YouTube, please. We're at the Elves Network on YouTube. Subscribe to us. We've been putting out some videos on YouTube. You can catch those if you follow us on the X. Go over there, subscribe to us. We want to build our fan base there on YouTube. So please do that. Number 1, drum roll, please. The number 1 big firework moment of Cleveland sports recent history in the last 30 years. The Cavs win the title. They're world champions in 2016. Do you know where you were? Do you remember that moment? Most Cleveland sports fans can recall that moment very vividly, and I'd love to hear what those stories are from you. I was out in Kansas. I was living out there in Wichita. Fine people, Wichita, and we were during the June back then, and the Cavs were down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. Those hated Golden State Warriors, and Seth Curry and his baby pacifier thing that he would suck on during games. My God, and all those hated Golden State Warriors. Ugh. And the Cavs down 3-1 came storming back behind LeBron James and a cast of others and surprised the world, shocked the world, and beat a Golden State team on the road in Game 7. There was the block. There was the go ahead bucket. All those things just made it a movie like script to end our drought of not winning titles. The Browns had won the last title in 1964. So 2016, LeBron screaming, "This one's for you, Cleveland." Just a wonderful moment. I think if you're a diehard like me, there were tears shed that night, screams. We were jumping up and down. My children, they're in Wichita, Kansas, screaming at the top of our lungs, just so happy that the Browns had finally won, or not the Browns, the Cavs had won a championship, glorifying Cleveland sports history. It was a wonderful moment in time, and hopefully we're going to get some of those moments again with the crew that's playing for the Cavs now, and maybe LeBron comes back. Who knows? But even so, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, the crew. You know, you got to have faith. You got to have hope and faith. But there is our list of the top 10 firework moments here in Cleveland sports history. Everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest of your 4th of July. Run out there and watch all the fireworks. They're going to be shooting off here in the next hour or two. Until the next time, have a very good weekend. Go Browns and go Cleveland.